What's up, Broncos country? Welcome back inside the UC Health Training Center for another episode of Broncos Now. Team reporter and host Sydney Jones here. And coming up on today's episode, we'll hear from head coach Nathaniel Hackett and quarterback Russell Wilson as the team was back at practice today. Plus, I'll have the latest injury report, and Phil Milani joins the show. All that and more coming up. The team was back at practice today as they look to face the Tennessee Titans in Nashville on Sunday. Head coach Nathaniel Hackett spoke to the media today and gave his thoughts on the Titans and discussed how he'll look to prepare the team as they face a physical opponent.
They are an unbelievably physical football team. That's what they pride themselves on. That's how they run the ball. That's how they do everything from defense, offense, and special teams also. I mean, they bring it, and it's something you point out to the team. You let them know that these guys are going to bring it every single down. They love contact. They love being physical. They pride themselves in that. And it's a challenge for our entire team to go against a very, very good physical football team.
As the Broncos come off their bye and head into the second half of the season, quarterback Russell Wilson says the team has to be in a playoff mentality.
You know, this is one of those things that you approach, you know, this week, you know, and understand that you're playing a great football team, the Tennessee Titans. They do a lot of great things across the board. We got to be at our best, and we got to bring our A game. And that's what we're looking forward to, is preparing at the highest level this week. The only thing that matters is today. All the other stuff down the road doesn't really matter. And so at the end of the day, we have a great practice today. We've got to make sure that today's practice is excellent at the highest level.
Titans quarterback Ryan Tannehill has been sidelined the past 2 weeks due to an ankle injury, so rookie quarterback Malik Willis has stepped up in his place. Not knowing what will happen this weekend, head coach Nathaniel Hackett discusses the challenge that comes with preparing for two different quarterbacks.
You obviously don't know exactly what he's going to be like or how he's going to react out there. You kind of try to get a feel for the things that they've utilized him in right now and some of the stuff that we've seen him do in college. But it's anytime you have to get ready for two quarterbacks, especially two quarterbacks that are a little bit different than each other, it makes defense think. But the starting point is we got to stop the run. I mean, 22 is an unbelievable football player. We all know that, and that's going to be a huge challenge for us.
Russell went on to discuss the evolution of this team and how their win in London was a big moment for this offense.
I think you always want to emphasize what's been going really well. I think that's the main focus, and who's doing what great and everything else. And then I think ultimately, I think you throughout the season you continue to evolve as a team. You know, there's evolution of your team and everything else. And I think London was a big moment for us, you know, because, you know, throughout all these games, every game's been close down to the wire, last possession or two, whatever it may be. And to be able to execute and win the game with the game on the line, I remember walking out on the field. It was starting to pour down rain a little bit. Rainbow came out. I'm like, all right, well, here we go again. And that's what you look forward to, is those moments where you get to answer, the call, and you know, and not every time is it going to go your way, but every time you believe it's going to go your way. And that's the mentality you have to have when you walk on the field. And so in clutch situations, big moments, I've never feared them. I don't think our football team does at all either. And we look forward to what's ahead. Obviously, it's going to be a great game this week. You know, like I said, they have a great football team. They got a lot of great players. And so we got to be at our best.
And last but not least, Coach Hackett announced today that safety Kareem Jackson has been named a captain for the remainder of the season.
He's a guy that's played a lot of games, been around this league for a long time. I personally have so much respect for him. Our team does. He's one of the leaders of our team, so he'll be our full-time captain for the defense moving forward.
And as we wrap up the top news of the day, let's take a look at today's injury report. Coach Hackett updated us on a few guys. Tackle Cam Fleming, safety Justin Simmons, and outside linebacker Baron Browning did not participate at practice today. Coach said that Simmons has a knee sprain and will be day-to-day. Plus, wide receiver Tyree Cleveland, cornerback Isang Bassi, and safety PJ Locke were limited. And cornerback K'Wan Williams was a full participant. Coach did give an update on outside linebacker Randy Gregory. He's day-to-day, and they're going to work him back in slowly, hoping he'll be back sooner rather than later. Now let's dive a little bit deeper into today's news. So joining me here inside the Broncos podcast studio is fellow team reporter Phil Milani. Phil, how's it going? It feels like it's been forever since we've been in here.
2 weeks, the London trip, and then the bye week. It's good to be back, though.
I know. It's good to have you back. How was your bye week?
It was nice. I did some stuff around the house, so that was good. Nothing fun. I wasn't like on a beach or anything, so
yeah,
well, it was boring. To-do list.
Well, it was nice to have the win heading into this bye week, that win in London. We missed you out there in London, Phil.
I know. Yeah. I was jealous of all the pictures. I had some FOMO. I'm not going to lie. Yeah, but I saw Eric Delilah cut out a
He
face.
did.
My
We
face.
had your face around
Yeah,
town.
so I was there in spirit.
Well, Phil, we heard earlier from Russell Wilson, that London was a really big moment for this team and for this offense. Why do you think that was?
I think that the general sense around this team right now is that this is sort of a tipping point week right now facing the Titans. Like they feel like there was some positive energy that took place there in London. I think because they were down in that game against the Jags, just like they have been in a lot of these games.
Right.
And then they made the plays when they needed to, and they ended up winning the game. So like maybe there's a way you could view this as, while not everything is clicking just yet, maybe it feels like they got over a little bit of a hump. And so now they have this opportunity to go on a run, find a hot streak. I think that's what Russ said today. And then if they're able to do that, maybe they can climb back into this season, get back into this playoff picture a little bit here. It really does feel like maybe this game against the Titans is a bit of a tipping point for the Broncos right now.
For sure. And it's going to be a tough one this weekend. We've heard... Well, we saw on Sunday night just how physical this Titans team is, but we heard from head coach Nathaniel Hackett and Russell Wilson today just how much of a challenge it is going to be on Sunday in Nashville.
Oh, my gosh. King Henry is leading the league in rushing yards. Really, their whole offense centers around what he's able to do there. And he's physical. He's big. I mean, he really attacks the hole. And these Broncos linebackers, the defensive line, they got to really meet that physicality, meet that challenge. And it's something that they've struggled with. As good as this defense has been this year, Josh Jacobs ran for a bunch of yards on him. Breece Hall had a 62-yard touchdown for the Jets before he got hurt. Travis Etienne against the Broncos in London had a really big game. So these are great running backs, and they're going to face another one this Sunday. I really think this Broncos defense is going to take this challenge head on, though. Be like, look, we're a great defense. This is our one knock. Let's go out and prove that we are really good. So,
well, looking at this Broncos defense, Phil, I know Justin Simmons and Baron Browning, they both did not participate in practice today. They're both day-to-day, according to Coach Hackett. I know it's still early in the week, but does that kind of worry you?
I think that, I guess both of them do, because Justin Simmons, that sort of just popped up. Nobody really knew that he was hurt. Said that it happened in the game, but he didn't really know when. Hackett didn't really know when, but it happened in the game against London. You would think if that was not a big deal, that after a bye week, he'd be able to practice on Wednesday. Yeah. So that maybe is a bigger concern that they're letting on. I don't know anything for a fact there, but just putting those pieces together like that, I guess that's a little bit of a concern. And then definitely at pass rusher, because after trading Bradley Chubb, now you look at the pass rushers the Broncos have that'll be able to go, that are healthy right now. Jonathan Cooper, Nick Benito, and Jake Martin. I mean, you really need a guy like Baron Browning to be able to go. So I think that's something that the Broncos are going to have to they're going to have to scheme up something if Browning's not able to go.
Yeah. And we're not sure what the timeline looks like for Randy Gregory yet. Coach also said he's day-to-day, and, they're trying to work him in slowly but surely, but haven't taken him off the IR yet.
Yeah, no, I don't expect him to play, obviously. And so, that's going to be interesting. And especially Nathaniel Hackett talked about whether they're going to get ready for two different kind of quarterbacks, Malik Willis or Ryan Tannehill, two different types of quarterbacks back there. So that adds another little wrinkle that the Broncos have to deal with here. So it did seem like the Chiefs had some success against Willis, getting pressure, making him really feel uncomfortable back there. So I'm sure that if it's him, a rookie quarterback, you disguise some things. You might be able to find other ways to get sacks, get pressure on him. Maybe it's a Draymond Jones trying to get pressure on him different ways. So I think that if it is Willis, that's better for the Broncos.
One thing I thought that was interesting today from Russell Wilson's press conference, Phil, is one of the reporters asked him about his wristband, and it wasn't something I'd really noticed, but the London game was the first time he had been wearing his wristband. But, Russell said he's won so many games without it, but I mean, whatever it takes.
Our friend Mike Kliss asking the tough questions there. Yeah, of course, this became sort of a topic in the news this week because Pete Carroll in Seattle gave an interview, talked about how Geno Smith has been able to have so much success getting back into the starting lineup here just this year, really, for Seattle. And one of the things Pete Carroll said was, Geno Smith is wearing this wristband, and we haven't had that in the past.
Right.
And said that, when the play is called, there's a lot of trust there. Hadn't had that in the past. And so when you infer on what Carroll said there, you think that that's sort of a shot at Russell Wilson. And so Russell Wilson was asked about this. Of course, he wore the wristband last week, or 2 weeks ago in London. That didn't really come up today. It was more just about Carroll's comments. And Russ was like, look, we won a lot of games there, so what does it matter?
Yeah,
that was sort of his reaction there. But it is sort of an interesting thing, though, that he did wear it in London. And of course, the benefit to having a wristband with your play sheet on there is that everything happens a little bit faster. From the headset from the coach, you could just say a number. Russ opens up his wristband, sees the number, gives a play call. So maybe there's a little bit more time there to diagnose what's happening at the line of scrimmage. Of course, Hackett can talk to Russ until 15 seconds left in the play clock. So maybe if you get up to the line of scrimmage early or something, Hackett can be helping him out, coaching him up in his headset. So maybe there are some benefits there, but ultimately you got to do whatever Russ is comfortable with, because he's the guy out there playing.
Absolutely.
But he wore it against Jacksonville, and he wore it also in practice on Wednesday. So maybe this is something that he's going to continue to do. Definitely interesting, something to keep an eye on just as the Broncos continue to sort of figure out this offense. I mean, Nathaniel Hackett was asked about it, like, hey, 8 games in, are you guys more comfortable? How are you at now? And he said, yeah, like at the beginning of the season, we were calling plays that I hated, but Russ wanted, and there was some success there, so he stuck with it.
Right.
There's definitely a feeling out process between these two here and getting on the same page, and we've yet to see it really click. But there have been these flashes. They won against Jacksonville, so maybe things are headed in the right direction now.
Yeah, Phil, you mentioned a little bit earlier just how close these games have been for the Broncos in the first half of the season. When you look at the second half here, what's something, specifically for the offense you really want to see them hone in on to really improve in the second half?
I think just having like a little bit more consistency and rhythm. When I look at these Broncos games on the offensive side of the ball, there's really not been much rhythm. There's been like big plays, big drives, like that 98-yarder against Jacksonville. You think back to these just a couple of moments here. You haven't really seen it all been like drive after drive after drive after drive. And of course, they're talking about third down there, and just staying on the field, how important that is. The problem is the Titans have the best third down defense in the NFL. So not a good week. Their defense
is good.
Really good.
Yeah, I think they fly under the radar.
Yeah, I mean, they really frustrated Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce. I mean, those guys were flustered a little bit Sunday night. So
I think they've had at least one interception in like the past 6 consecutive games.
And they're aggressive, I mean, I do think that this is a really good defense. So I expect a low-scoring game. But the biggest thing I want to see is just that consistency. And it's going to be hard because the schedule, they play the Raiders and then the Panthers. And then after that, this schedule is going to be brutal down the stretch. So it's going to be tough. But on the flip side, it's just more time that they've been together. So while you would have hoped for a faster start, especially with the schedule they had this first half of the season, you would hope to be in a better position. But, this thing's a work in progress, and maybe we'll see them have a little bit more consistency. It would just be so nice that not late in the fourth quarter that it was coming down to 1 or 2 plays, I know certainly for you, Sydney, you're running around there at the stadiums, trying to get ready and for post-game stuff. And
not knowing what's going to happen.
Every game is like right down to the wire. Like, come on.
They're killing me. Well, Phil, there's going to be a lot to watch for on Sunday. Like you said, this team is going to keep getting better week in and week out.
But it does feel like this is a tipping point.
I do too.
If the Broncos win this one, they go for a run. Maybe they're going on a run here and things are getting better. If they lose this one, 3-6 is really tough to come back from. So it does feel like at this point in the season where the Broncos are right now, facing this Titans team, it really feels like this is it. They gotta do it this week. So,
well, hopefully next week at this time we'll be talking about their run that they started.
Exactly. So Russ says that every season in his career, teams have gone on these little streaks as they've caught momentum.
Right.
And, maybe this is the time for the
now.
Broncos. Yeah, we'll see.
Well, Phil, appreciate your time. It was so
Thanks,
good having
Sydney.
you back here in the studio.
You.
I know, I missed it too.
I like these Wednesday chats.
I know, me too. Well, Phil, appreciate your time. Thanks for joining me today.
Thanks, Sid.
And we were back inside the locker room today before practice and caught up with wide receivers KJ Hamler and Cortland Sutton, defensive end Draymond Jones. Both KJ Hamler and Cortland Sutton talked about their expectations for this offense and how they'll look to slow down this Titans defense.
I think just that fast tempo, I think we're going to try to keep that stuff up. But the fast tempo was really what was getting them. And I think we moved efficiently with that. So, just keep progressing and keep learning ourselves. And, new things come at all times. So you just got to adapt and learn. So that's about it.
If we have them boys up in Mile High, it'd be even worse. But going over there, that's a big thing for us. I think those guys, the defense played 101 snaps or something like that, which is crazy. So, I know that they're going to be focusing on recovering those guys, especially the big guys up front. So it's going to be on us to, go into the game and, we have that information, attacking that, going into the game with the mindset of, we got to lean on these guys. We got to make them play to our tempo, make them stick with us and not, drop down to their tempo.
Well, Draymond Jones talked about slowing down Titans running back Derrick Henry.
I think his ability to hit a hole so well. I feel like some guys kind of pitter-patter. I think once he sees his opportunity, he hits it. I mean, don't get me wrong, though. He's not going to run over no D lineman or nothing like that, but we got to make sure he can't get to the level where he can't get a chance to try to attack our DBs.
Well, that'll do it for today's episode of Broncos Now. Broncos Country, thanks so much for tuning in today and every day. I hope you meet me right back here on the Broncos Podcast Network and YouTube tomorrow for another episode. I'll see you all then.